you should be working on cruise ships, and whilst there are numerous reasons, I've compiled the top 3 which I believe are the most important, and that is what we'll be discussing in today's video. Now, I would like to welcome you back to my channel. If you happen to be seeing my face for the very first time, welcome on board. My name is 𝐌𝐍𝐓𝐄𝐑𝐄𝐒, and I've dedicated and created this playlist, Work and Travel Overseas, to share with you everything cruising, to answering your questions, giving you tips and strategies on how to begin your own career, and as well as to share my own experiences on working on cruise ships. Now, I've been blessed for the last 5 years to be working on board cruise ships. I've traveled over 70 countries in multiple cities and thousands of cruise ports. Now, I know there are a lot of speculations, there are a lot of rumors, and there are a lot of news out there about working on cruise ships. And that is exactly why I dedicated this playlist to be able to bring you exactly from my own experiences directly from the horse's mouth. Please make sure you are subscribed to my channel and turn on those notification icon in order to make sure that you do not miss any new content that I post, which will be packed with tips and strategies on how to begin or enhance your own journey of working on cruise ships. Now, before we dive in, I'd like to maybe share with you a little bit of my story so we can understand where it began, where I am, and where I've been through along this journey. Now, in 2006, I basically had a dream. At that time, I did not see, or I could not find a way how this dream could materialize. Now, back then, it was a time whereby I was supposed to decide what I was going to do with my career. I was going on to my 10th grade, and believe it or not, I knew nothing about career guidance. I knew nothing about what I was going to do, basically. So I decided to ask my aunt. I spoke to her and I asked her, what is it that she suggests that I should do? She told me that, why don't you do travel and tourism? And back then, I knew nothing about travel and tourism. So I asked her, what was it? So she told me it is basically something to do with traveling. Now, at that time, I could never see it in my mind as to how I was going to do this thing, because I grew up in a city where basically it's one of the most poorest provinces in South Africa, in between Mount Frere in Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, where I went to school. So I would literally travel between school holidays between these two cities, and there's not a city outside of those two that I've actually traveled. So to me, it was really a big dream and inspiring, but it did not actually begin to materialize up until I finished high school, where I did travel and tourism as a course. And when I went to varsity, I actually decided to study hospitality management, and that is where everything started for me. Now, my breakthrough happened in 2013, and that is where I got my internship to go and work in USA. It was sort of a cultural exchange program, and guess what? I flew to Miami. And for the first time, I saw Miami with my own eyes. That was a dream come true, because let's be honest, before that, I could actually see Miami, New York, those places in movies. And this time, it was actually happening in my life. I spent actually 4 years working and living in the USA, and I've traveled to Los Angeles, New York, Key West, Washington, Orlando, and you name it. And after 4 years of doing that, I felt like, you know what, I've done everything that I wanted to do in the United States. So I decided to go back home and replan and reorganize my life. I tried to look for ways as to how I could continue doing this thing, because now it was a part of me. It was more like a lifestyle, up until I found cruise ships through a friend of mine, which we met back in the States, whom I knew at the time, who introduced me to cruise ships. And back then, when I started cruise ships, I knew nothing. And some of the things that I wish now I could have known back then, there was nobody basically to walk me through that journey. And that is why I want to basically share this with all that I've got, so that it can maybe ignite or spark something in you to inspire you to start your career in cruise ships. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you something special. Make sure you stay till the end. Don't skip anything. I'm watching you, because you might lose a lot of value in between. And with that being said, it brings us to reason number 1. Reason number 1 is financial security. And financial security is a top priority for myself in my own life, simply because I was born in poverty. Not only in poverty, but in extreme poverty, like I've mentioned before, in Eastern Cape. And basically, I was raised living in a shack in KwaZulu-Natal, because coming from Eastern Cape, that is only what my parents or my grandparents could afford. Now, my friend, I can tell you that I've hustled. I've started numerous side gigs. I've been to multiple jobs, changing from one job to the next. And actually, I ended up in the taxi industries, where I started basically as what we used to call as sliding door operators, where we were actually helpers for the drivers, up until the time where I got my own driver's license, when of course I was in varsity and I became a taxi driver whilst I was going to college. Now, my friend, as I've mentioned, financial security to me was one of those most important things, simply because I know how it is to come from poverty. I know how it is to have nothing, to want to do things for yourself and for your family and not be able to do those things. But that is actually what I found in cruise ships, and that is why I'm sharing this with you, my friend. Not only did I find that, but one of the benefits of working on cruise ships, when I got here, I realized that all my expenses are covered. Basically, from the travel expenses, from coming home, things like medical visas, things like, flights, hotels, you name it, all those things are covered for me. And when I get on board, as you can see right now, I'm recording this video from my cabin. I literally have to pay nothing to live in this cabin. I've got electricity, I've got a nice bed, I've got a nice shower right there, and all the food that I eat on board, I have to pay nothing for it. The only expenses that I have is when I want to go out and maybe, grab lunch or dinner or whatever it is that I might do, which is an activity outside. That's the only expenses that I have. Now, coming from a place like South Africa, we know that this is one of the highest things that we have that can eat away from our money or our salary, basically, at the end of the day. Now, one of the benefits also of the expenses that I don't have to deal with is something like taxes. Now, my friend, I actually saw this very early in my career, because let's face it, when you're in a country like mine in South Africa, the more money you make, the more the taxman takes. Now, I'm not implying that it's wrong or right to pay or not to pay taxes. I still pay all other taxes like anyone else, because it's not only income tax, but the highest taxes that I realized that I could save on was income tax, which, working on cruise ships, we do not have to pay or contribute to any income tax to any country. My money that I make is simply mine to keep, and it's mine to send to my family. And of course, this is one of the greatest things, like I've mentioned, of having to work on cruise ships. Now, it also provides me the freedom of what I want to do, because I can save my money as much as I want, because my salary, the way that I get paid, it goes directly to my bank account. I send some to my family, and the rest is for me to save. I could do whatever I want. I have the freedom to go on a vacation when I want to, whenever I'm free and not on work. And basically, this is one of the things that I could never have when I was on land in South Africa, especially if you are in hospitality. Now, you know this, because we are not getting paid as much as we could. But coming on cruise ships, I make 5 times, 6 times, 7 times the amount of money that I could make back home. Now, let's move on to reason number 2. Reason number 2 is to learn about yourself. Now, cruise ships is one big floating hotel that carries 20, 30, 40 different nationalities, depending on how big of a cruise line that you work at, exactly at the same time in one space. Now, you can imagine what that means. That means that you have to work with these people. That means that you have to live with these people, sometimes in sharing circumstances, depending on the rank and position that you are at. And it means that you have to basically get along with these people, because when you are on board, you are actually part of a team. You are part of a company, part of a business, and that is why you are here. Now, my friend, that is one of the most challenging things that I've ever had to experience, especially coming from a limited background, whereby in my culture, I thought and I believed certain things, which when I saw other people I thought that whatever they thought and believed is wrong. But then this is where I got to learn about myself the most, through other people, of course. And not only to learn about myself, but to grow as a person. Because let's be honest, what we are after, what we are looking for, no matter what industry, no matter what age, what race we're at, we are looking for growth. And whatever we can define that growth to be, that is exactly what we need as human beings and what we strive for. When we want to be better, we're actually striving for growth. Now, my friend, I can go on a little bit deeper on how this can happen, but it will end up taking all our time. So maybe this can be a topic for another day. And please do let me know down below in the comments if you want me to expand on this topic about learning about yourself and growth. But I just wanted to make sure that I touch base on this topic because I believe it's one of those most important topics that we can ever discuss. Now, reason number 3. This is where it gets exciting, because this is one of my favorite parts, where we get to travel the world for free. Now, I've done it. I've been there. For the last 5 years, I've been blessed to be able to see 6.5 continents in more than 70 countries, something that I could have never been able to do given my situation and my circumstances. Because let's be honest, in order for you to travel, you need money, my friend. And if you do not have money, there's no ways that you can be able to travel, unless if you can find one of the ways to travel for free, because there's actually multiple ways. But for this video, we are going to stick to cruise ships because that is what I know and that is what exactly I have been doing. Now, yes, we do get to travel to multiple cities, into different cruise ports. This is one industry or one jobs that can allow you to travel in between 3-4 countries within a span of less than a week. Now, before we get maybe confused, let me get a little bit of clarity, because some people here travel for free and they think that in cruise ships you just come here and you travel. No, my friend, that is not why we are here. We are here because we are employed to carry out a certain job, which requires that we will have certain duties. And of course, we do have working hours and we have rest hours. And your rest hours, you can do whatever it is that you want. But what I really want us to get and understand here is the fact that we have to sacrifice something in order to get something. And although it's not an easy industry, because I don't want to paint the picture that you just come here and you travel and it's easy. No. Yes, you do get those benefits to travel, to see the world, to meet different people, but you still have a duty, which is your job, and that is why you are hired. But then, of course, there is more greater things to explore and to see, provided and on condition that your mindset is set to that you're not just doing a job, but then you're offering a service in exchange for something. So when I say you get to travel for free, I really want you to get and to understand this, my friend, because again, like I've mentioned previously, this is another topic that we can probably expand on another video. But for today, we just want to keep it short because I don't want to make again a long video out of just one topic. But this is one of the ways, my friend. This is one of the most lucrative ways I've found it easier to be able to travel the world. And I'm still looking forward to what the world has to offer, because there's so many places that I haven't seen that I actually want to, be able to travel. There's about 195 to 197 countries, if I'm not mistaken. And this is something that I haven't even seen or began to experience, and I'm looking forward to do this. And on this journey, this is where we can do it together, or I could maybe give you some tips, like I've mentioned, to be able to do it for yourself. Let's wrap up today's discussion, and basically here's a quick recap on what we've discussed today. We started by discussing the importance of financial security that I've been able to find through working on cruise ships, followed by learning about yourself as well as growing as a person, and of course being able to travel the world for free. Now, I do believe, my friend, that anyone can be able to do this. If I can do it, given the situation and circumstances where I come from, you can do it too, on condition that you want to do it. And that is why I've created this playlist to be able to answer all the questions that you might have and to give you tips and strategies on what to do to begin your own journey. Now, please do feel free. If you have any question, drop them in the comment box. I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, also back to what we've discussed earlier on, and I promised you, there's actually something that I've been working on. I've put in a lot of time, a lot of research, and a lot of effort, and I've dedicated this to help you further enhance your journey and to be able to give you the guidance, walking you step by step on what to do. Now, if you are interested in finding out more, below in the description, I'm going to leave a link where you'll be able to sign up, and I will tell you as soon as we launch, and I'll give you details as we develop whatever it is that I'm planning. And I'll also add you to my exclusive newsletter where I'll be sharing some of more important and powerful tips and techniques on what to do on this journey. So if you want and you are interested, please do make sure that you follow the link in the description, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more exciting content like this, and turn on those notification icons so you can be notified whenever I post new content. It's been a great pleasure hosting this video and presenting it to you. And for now, my friend, this is 𝐌𝐍𝐓𝐄𝐒 signing off. Until the next one, stay safe, be good. Goodbye, my friend.